Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you how to make flesh wounds using Elmer's glue and toilet paper. So it's pretty easy, it just takes a little bit of time. So what I start out doing is we're going to brush the Elmer's glue on using a paintbrush. So if you just want to put your glue on a plate, then you're going to go ahead and start putting it onto your skin. So we're not going to do a huge wound today, but we want enough glue on here that the toilet paper sticks to it. Now I think you can probably use whatever kind of toilet paper you want. So this is just Scott brand. So the key is you don't want it too flat. You want to give it some texture. The idea is that your skin is going to look like it is peeling and rotting off when we're done. I may actually have put a little bit too much on here, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some more glue over it to kind of help it adhere. It's been a while since I've done this. A sponge might be better to dip the glue in. Whatever works best with what you have to work with. And I think this might be too much toilet paper, but we'll see how it goes. It's just kind of sticky and messy. So you don't really want your toilet paper to be saturated, but you want it enough that when it dries, it's going to kind of do its thing. I don't know if you're ever one of those kids that played with glue when you were in school by putting it on your skin and then peeling it off. I think probably most kids did that. I know I did, not to any great extent, but a little bit. All right, so we're going to go ahead and let this dry. I'm probably going to go ahead and use a hairdryer. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and used the hairdryer just to get this dry a little bit faster. You can see some of the thicker areas that had more glue are still a little bit wet, but I think that is going to be okay. So typically at this point, what I go ahead and do is I just kind of start maybe pulling things away to see what kind of... Okay, so after all that, I realized that my video stopped recording. So what I had been trying to say was that I start pulling things apart just to kind of give them a little more texture, make the skin look like, you know, it's more gross, maybe melted from a fire or torn apart or just really decaying. And then once I'm done with that, I go ahead and add some of the flesh tone powder. So I was using some of this air spun, but it's a little too light of a color for what I was looking for. So I went back over to an old bronzer that I have. I like the face makeup type palette just because it's geared towards matching your skin tone, rather than using some of the like cakes and things that I have for, you know, making pale face paint and dark eyes and things like that. So I just have this old bronzer that I've been using. I do not use expensive makeup brushes for this kind of thing just because I don't want the good ones to get ruined. So what I've been doing is just go ahead and adding some of the flesh tone texture to it. This is a little more shimmery than I would like, but it's what I have, and I think it'll be okay once we start adding in some of the other colors to give it a little more texture. So I think we're good there. So I've gone ahead and I have closed this up, and I've got some black here that I think might be good. One of the other things I like to use too are paint brushes. They're very easy to wash. Again, I don't buy the very expensive ones because, you know, unfortunately, things do get ruined. And you don't want to have to worry about that when you're playing around with costume makeup and different effects and things like that. You know, and of course, if you have a different opinion, I would love to hear that too, because I am fairly new to this. I have only done this a few times, and I have a lot of fun with it, but like I said, definitely not an expert. So I'm just going along here, adding in some of the black texture, you know, kind of makes your skin look like it's been decayed, that it's kind of rotting, makes it look kind of gross. Of course, everything will look a lot different once we start adding in the fake blood. I also have a inexpensive eyeshadow compact over here that I'm gonna go ahead and open up and use here soon. It's got some interesting shades of green and purple, and even yellow that really kind of make your skin look disgusting if they're applied, I don't know, the right way, I guess. So go ahead and set that down. We'll move on to this one. So grab another brush. We're gonna see how this green works. I like this palette. It's a cheap one, but it's also like not too shimmery. So we'll just kind of see what this does for us. I don't like this brush though. This brush is weird. Okay. So again, it doesn't have to be totally perfect. I'll add in some videos of some other wounds that I've done in the past. I did another example of my arm, and then some wounds I did for a zombie crawl a few years back that I think turned out pretty good. I feel like this area is like really just being, I don't know, ignored, neglected. That's the word I was looking for. Kind of like how I got extra glue here and it's already like looking nasty, like my skin's just falling off of the bone. I mean, not the bone, you can't see any bone, but the flesh is definitely making an exit. So go ahead and finish that up. Maybe add a little more black. I just kind of like the way it looks under the red. Oops, let me get there. And I'll be honest, I don't know what this is that I'm using. It's just a little tube of inexpensive costume makeup. Oops, sorry, I didn't realize it was under the camera. That again is probably well past its expiration date, but I'm just putting it on my arm, not my face, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. And, you know, if it gives me a bad reaction, well, I'll just make it a little more realistic, right? So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and try and add a little more of these colors. That brush that I was using is not the best. Also, if you're having trouble getting your eyeshadow kind of thick enough, or even just you want it a little bit darker, you can try applying it with a wet brush. A lot of times that helps. Again, I'm not a makeup expert, but that has worked in my experience. So, oops, still wet. I wish this purple was just a little bit darker. Kind of make it look There's some like nasty bruising going on if I could get it to apply the way I wanted it to. I don't know, what does that color look like? Nothing. Oh, there, that looked good. Some purple in there. See, and I think that was a little bit wet. Let's see if I can find. Dip the brush in some water. Make it just there. Well, now it's too wet. Dang it. You can always use your extra toilet paper to help wipe up any messes you make. All right, so now it's going on a little darker, and this just maybe isn't the right color. I have some other darker shades of purple in other palettes that kind of stand out a little bit more, but I think this will be okay. I kind of like the way it's going on now that it's darker. So just keep adding color, texture, until you're satisfied with the results. Definitely don't make it like an even line. You don't want it to look like, you know, you added squares of toilet paper to your arm. I know that would kind of look like that here, but it's fixed itself, so it'd be great if I could quit hitting the camera. So yeah, just give it some texture. It's kind of hard to get in here where you guys can see it without me not being able to see it. So if the video kind of sucks, sorry. I'm not a professional videographer. Just getting better all the time though. Okay. So maybe a little more purple around the edges. Almost there. Okay, so that's good. So now we're gonna go ahead and use the blood. I like Marin Stage Blood. It is, I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. This is the Dark Venice, I don't know. It's not crazy red, but I liked the effects that it had last time I used it. Okay, now I need to find, I have somewhere, where'd they go? Somewhere I had, here they're knocked on the floor. They're sponges and they're the looser. So this one, it's really kind of plasticky, kind of harsh, but it gives a really good texture. And then I haven't tried this one, but we'll go ahead and give it a whirl. So I just kind of, maybe not over the table, we'll just put it over the tray, dump it on there, maybe. You can see it's pretty thick, pretty viscous, so you're not gonna have it running all over you. It's gonna be kind of horror film oozy, which I think for a wound like this makes sense. So I go ahead and I just use it to dab around. The reason why I like the loose, it's not really a weave, but the reason why I like the looseness of this sponge is that it kind of helps distribute it a little bit better. It's not quite so, you know, all in one place, although that piece, yeah, needs to get in there. Also, like I was saying earlier, this bottle is kind of old, so it's probably thicker than it was when I originally bought it, but that's okay. I'm sure the tubes of the other fake bloods on the market work just as well. I also found in my makeup bin a little jar of the red gel cake food coloring. Sorry, not cake food coloring, but food coloring in general. So, oh yeah, this is looking pretty gross, pretty nasty looking. So again, you're just going to keep adding the blood until you're happy with the effect of it. Oops, maybe not that much. Definitely need some in there. And then we'll go ahead and we'll try this one too, see how we like the texture of that. This definitely has a better like surface area. Kind of like the way it's working. Still doesn't look too much like you're applying makeup with a sponge. It's good. Go ahead and spread that around a little bit, see if that helps. Just kind of, yeah, look, you can get that in there where it looks like that skin's falling off. Hopefully you guys can see this okay, because my arm is at a very weird angle. And we'll just let it kind of go all the way over. That purple is looking good now, like some really nasty bruising. And of course, the less, you know, I don't know what I'm looking for. The less uniform it looks, I think, is what makes it look more realistic. You know, I mean, you don't want to look like you've got a wad of toilet paper on your arm. You also don't want it to look like, oh, I did exactly this in a repeat pattern, so that everyone could see what I was doing. But yeah, look at that. Looks like there's some like good clots going. Pretty gross. I think I like it. Definitely want to get some of the like goo and stuff under here. My hands are so sticky. Look like that skin peeling off is like really rotting. It's gross and awesome at the same time. Okay, so yeah, I think that looks pretty horrific. And look how red my fingers are. The other thing I wanted to try, I don't know that I've ever used it, but I've got this zombie black blood spray. I don't know if it's any good. It is from a brand called Fun World. So let's see what kind of, oh, okay. It's definitely more focus stream than splatter. But it is kind of, I don't know. Oh, shit. Sorry, watch my language. It's making a big mess. But we'll let it run down my arm a little bit. See how gross it looks. So, okay, well, that's kind of fun. A little messier than I expected. I probably wouldn't use that again just because I've sprayed it everywhere. Also, I can see that maybe I should use a different, got some like pieces like popping up over here that need to be a little more, ooh, less toilet papery and more bloody. And I guess if your blood is going to be this sticky, maybe bring a wet rag or something to like dip it in. Now it just looks like I'm rolling around in dirt. Oops, that's not the right one. Now I'm messing up all my brushes. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Hopefully you found this valuable. Hopefully you are going to run out and try this yourself, because it really is very easy. A lot of people have glue at their house, and that's all it takes: glue and a roll of toilet paper and some makeup. So enjoy. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Talk to you soon.